3, 2, 1. Hello friends, Janky here, and welcome back to Squad Goals, where I take your suggestions for videos, I put them into this Incredible Hulk bowl, I mix them up, I draw one out, we make that video, and then I eat the paper at the end to signify accomplishment and the cycle of rebirth and death and the mysticism of the universe, which I feel is accomplished through the use of, hey look, I drew a suggestion, let's go ahead and look at it, shall we? So, this week's video shall be, drumroll please, a tough Q&A. Oh, should I do that soon after Subpixel did? Well, whatever. This one is inspired by Subpixel, who recently did a Q&A where he was just like, yo, let's ask tough questions. Not just what your favorite color is, but actual hard questions. So, I am going to take to Twitter and get some tough questions from you guys, and then we shall make a video. Huzzah! Hello friends, Janky here, and welcome to the Tough Q&A. I went over to Twitter, I got your questions, and now I am here to answer them. So let's hop right in with the first one. Let's take a look. Question number 1, why are you you? Wow, we're starting fathoms deep to begin with. Alright, we'll roll with it. I mean, I'm of the opinion that the experiences that you have in life are what shape you as a person, so I am going to say that I'm me because of all the things I've done, which seems like, that feels like a cop-out answer, doesn't it? Okay, let me think about this for a minute. If I had to pick one thing in particular, I guess, like one particular experience that really makes me me, I would probably say it's been all of my time doing theater, which is something that I've talked about before, I think. But I just always really enjoyed doing theater, and I met so many interesting people, and people that just made me try things and do things that I probably wouldn't have done on my own. And I think it's made me the person that I am today. And I still talk to a lot of those people too, and we still hang out and have a good time, and yeah, it's fun. Theater. Definitely theater. Would you rather lose all of your old memories or never be able to make new ones? That's hard. Because, like I just said in the last question, like your old memories make up who you are, but new memories help you grow as a person. I would actually probably pick lose all the old ones though, and let me explain why, because there is a reason. So I'm sure you guys have noticed over the course of watching my videos, I am surrounded by a whole bunch of what probably looks like junk behind me. And there's actually a lot more of it that you can't see about my room. But the thing is, like, everything that I have has some story attached to it. So my rule is that even though it looks like I'm a hoarder, everything I have has a story to it. And if I don't remember what the story is anymore, then I get rid of the thing because I don't remember why I was keeping it anymore. So really, all of my memories are just the collection of stuff that I have in my room. And one day maybe we'll do like a thing where I will take you around and I'll tell you the story of everything in my room, because I remember all of my stories, but that's probably why I would choose to lose all the old ones, because I'm surrounded by my old memories. So my stuff would help me remind me of where I've been, and then I could keep on making new ones. So that's my answer to that. Have you ever regretted something you did not say or do? I mean, all the time, but if you're looking for a specific example, let me think. I will say that one thing I probably regret not doing is doing some sort of like study abroad program when I was in college, because I was just very focused on getting through school and getting my degree. So I didn't always appreciate like the opportunity to do something cool like study abroad. And I would really like to like travel and see other places, and that probably would have been a really good opportunity. I just didn't want to be like put behind a semester just to go to Germany or something like that, so I never really looked into it, but I kind of wish I would have studied abroad. I think that that would have been a really cool opportunity, and I think it would have given me a little more perspective, and I wish I would have done that. I'm sorry guys if I seem like super out of it or anything during this Q&A. I know that I might, and I might not be giving great answers. I don't know. It's just one of those things where it's very hard for me to answer like really deep, tough questions in a solo. Okay, let me take a second to explain this. Like, if I were having this conversation with, like, for example, my theater friends, it would actually be very easy to have this conversation because we'd all be getting into this deep discussion about, like, our ideals and what we feel and, like, all this deep stuff. But just, like, sitting here in front of a camera, answering tough questions by myself is a lot harder than I thought it would be. Like, I know who the audience is, it's you guys, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know, it's just a much easier conversation to have with other people than it is to try to like have it by yourself. I apologize. Do you think crying is a sign of weakness or strength? I think crying is fine. I think that crying is amazing. Crying is a nice cathartic release. This is a conversation we always used to have in theater whenever you talk comedy versus drama. Like comedies will make you feel good because they make you laugh and smile and you just have a good time. But like watching a drama unfold and having that moment where the character just like breaks down and then you break down with them, like you don't feel good about it necessarily, but you feel relieved walking out of the play. And I would almost kind of argue that's a better feeling. Like, don't get me wrong, I love comedy and my thing is comedy, but getting that opportunity to just kind of feel relieved that someone else is feeling the same things that you're feeling and that it's okay to cry, I think that that's awesome. So cry your heart out. I absolutely encourage that. What is the difference between living and existing? Because existence is just like you eat and you sleep and you have a day and then you fall back asleep. I mean, existing is boring as all get out. But living, I mean, you go out into the world, you find something new, even just like driving to a place you've never been before. Just like go out on the road and take a path that you didn't know. Or just anything outside your comfort zone where you just feel something new and exciting. I mean, that's living to me. So that's what I think. If you could choose one book as a mandatory read for all high school students, which book would you choose? I would choose no book as a mandatory read in high school, because if any high school students are like me in high school, even if it's a book I absolutely love, I would not read it because it was mandatory. Because I'm the kind of person that I really don't like it whenever I have to do something. Like, there are so many books that I love reading because I think that they're really interesting and I think they have a lot of really interesting ideas. There's one book, well, several books back on my bookshelf, but there's one I have called My Ishmael. Absolutely love that book. If that was mandatory reading, I would have hated that book. But since I read it like by myself on my own, I loved it. So I would never like mandatorily assign a book to high school students. What are you most grateful for? Friends and family, which is a generic answer, admittedly. But I really do appreciate, like, my family, they're really awesome. My mom and dad are great. But my sister, she was like my best friend growing up. She is just absolutely amazing. And we don't talk that much anymore, which is a shame. I should call her more often. But we just had an amazing time. And we would just like let our imaginations run wild. We would build like these crazy contraptions and things, and we would come up with all these stories, and we would have these crazy ideas like running a restaurant and you know, just doing all of that stuff that kids do, you know, running around outside and coming up with all this. It was great. And then my friends, especially the ones I've made since college, like, they've just been interesting. Like, so many of the people that I know now, like, they've gone on and they've done amazing things in all over the country. Arizona, New York, California, all over. And I'm just so glad for having known them and still getting to talk to them and just enjoying their company. And every time we get together, we just have like these bullshit conversations that are just awesome, and then they lead to something like crazy deep, and then we just sit around for hours talking about like nonsense, but also about like this great amazing stuff. It's just wonderful to have friends like that, so I am absolutely grateful for having known those people. I just love them all. What is the difference between innocence and ignorance? So when I was 5, 6, right before kindergarten, I was just like playing in the living room, and the news was on, because my dad was watching the news, and they reported on like some fiery explosion where people were killed, and I think it was actually like a murder scenario where someone had set off the explosion that killed these people. And I was just playing, but I like caught that part on the news, and like from that moment on, I was just like, the world can suck. And before that, I didn't really think about it. I didn't notice that the world could be that like a really terrible place. And that was Innocence. And then I saw that clip of the news, and then I realized, oh, there are terrible things in the world. And I don't know. Yeah, I was like somewhere between like 4 and 6 whenever that happened. Also, the reason that I did not watch the news for a very, very, very long time. I don't think I started watching the news again until I was in college, just because I just knew that whenever I tuned in, there's always the chance that something terrible would be on, which there usually is, so I just didn't bother with it. But ignorance is like whenever you know something terrible is out there, but you choose to blatantly ignore the fact that it exists. Ignorance is the reason that a solution cannot be found. Innocence is like that nice state where you don't realize there's a problem. Ignorance is when you know there's a problem, but you choose not to do anything about it. You just choose to ignore it. Ignorance, they say ignorance is bliss. I don't think ignorance is bliss. I think ignorance is stupid. So that's my opinion. What do you have that you cannot live without? I don't know that I would say that there's any particular possession that I have that I couldn't live without. Even though, like I said at the beginning of this, like all of these things have stories and meaning to me. In the end, I still have those memories regardless of whether the object is here to help me remember them or not. Although it is kind of nice to have, as I sometimes like to call it, my external hard drive surrounding me so that I can remember things. Because I don't always. A lot of like the really good stories that people tell about me are things that I don't remember doing, but they informed me that I did. Not like in a sort of way like there was any particular reason I shouldn't remember it, but like, I don't know, it just never left an impression on me that I did a thing and then people are like, oh, but it was great. I was just like, oh, well, thank you. I will say one thing that I probably couldn't live without is just the freedom to do what I like. And, anytime that you're an adult, you kind of have to give up a little bit of that in terms of like a job and stuff like that. But just being able to do things that I want to do and feel like if I wanted to, I could just drive off into the sunset if I felt like it. Like if I ever got into a situation where I didn't feel like I could do that, then that would just be terrible to me. That's like every time I will say that most of the time I spend my time like indoors. But if I got sick, like when I get sick, absolutely the number one thing I want to do is go outside. Hands down, that is what I want to do, because I absolutely refuse to remain inside. And it's just one of those weird things, like if you tell me not to do something, the first thing that I intend to do is the thing that you told me not to do, because I want to prove that I can do it. So that's actually led me to do a lot of strange things in life. That's like probably the number one way to motivate me to do something, is to tell me, oh, you probably can't do that. And I'll be like, the hell I can't. And then I'll go do it. So, fun fact for me. Tell me not to do something and I'll probably do it. What is the biggest obstacle that stands in your way right now? Oh, myself. Absolutely. I get in my own way all the time. I just get like nervous, and then I get like, I like talk myself down from doing stuff. I'm just like, oh, well, I guess maybe now's not a good time, and I don't know if I'm able to do it right now. And like, I'll talk myself down from doing really cool stuff. And I've really tried to combat that lately by just saying yes to go doing stuff. But absolutely myself. I'm in my own way all the time. And that's definitely my biggest obstacle. What's something you wish you had done earlier in life? Start a YouTube channel. Start a YouTube channel. No, I would have been terrible. I would have been terrible back in the day at any time. But what is something I did wish I had done earlier? You know what I always wish I had gotten into? Like parkour. Like something actually like cool but athletic. Or like rock climbing. I bet if I got into rock climbing earlier in life, I would be really good and I would do that more often. But as it stands, I just tend not to be a very athletic person. And that comes from years of experience being terrible at sports. So I just don't consider myself an athletic person. But I do enjoy things like bouldering and like, I'm not going to say parkour because I don't really do good parkour, but like dancing, acrobatics. I would absolutely love to be able to do like flips and stuff. I would love to be able to do that, but I just don't practice, and I kind of feel like it's kind of late to get started. I guess it's never too late to get started, but I wish I had gotten into that earlier in life, is what I'm saying. So that would be cool. What motivates you to be your best? When I'm passionate about something, whenever I have a project that I just like really, really love and can't wait to get started on, that is the absolute best motivation for me, is just to have something that I'm like, yes, I want to do this. And I do research and I figure out everything I can about it, and then I go out and I do it. Oh my goodness. And I think that's just about it for the tough Q&A. So I'm sorry if I didn't get around to answering your question. I will try to put your question at the top of the list next time I do this, whenever that happens to be. But I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you know me a little bit better. So if you guys liked it, of course, feel free to leave those likes down below. Comments, positive or negative, feel free to leave those below as well. More than anything, I hope you guys have a lovely day, evening, or whatever you happen to be watching. Thank you so much for watching. Oh, why is it salty? Until next time, this is Yankee Shenanigans signing out. God, why did I start doing this? It's so gross.